What is socially accepted when you are beautiful, but not accepted when you are ugly?
Being the strong, silent type only works if you are handsome. People don't want to explore if there is any depth to you if you're not aesthetically pleasing. I am sure more good-looking people get away with shit personalities. Literally just existing and talking to people. There's a guy at work named Sean. Sean is unfortunate looking. He's a redhead, he's balding, yet his sides and back are pretty long. He doesn't cut his nose hairs, he's constantly red/pink, pot-bellied, and yeah, he kind of lingers around your desk and talks a bit too much. Problem is, we all kind of do that. You know, overstaying your cubicle visit or whatever. Everyone at work thinks he's creepy. They all think he'll shoot up the place, or maybe will eventually be banned from entering a school zone. TBH, Sean is a sweet, nice dude. He's your nerdy, 40-year-old virgin type of dude. He's got a lot of friends, from what I can tell on Facebook, and practically zero work friends. He plays on different softball and bowling teams, goes out to bars with his friends, and from what I can tell, seems perfectly normal. I talk to him every so often and he's a really nice guy. I visited his desk and he said I was the first person to visit him. He started here maybe 6 months ago. It's very unfortunate for him that people think of him this way. I know for a fact that if he was skinnier, had hair, and wasn't ugly that people wouldn't think he's creepy at all. Matched a girl on Tinder who looked very attractive from her photos. They had hour-long phone conversations and day-long texting conversations. Went to go meet her for the first time, and he felt catfished. Apparently, she was much larger than the pictures let on. I told him you gotta expect that a bit, but he says it was a crazy amount, like he felt tricked. Anyway, after knowing she was not very attractive, he said she was awful at conversations, very boring, asking the same repetitive questions to not let a conversation die. Looking back on his old texts, she was always awful at conversation, him too TBF, but he was never bored. When he thought it was a really hot girl asking about his day at work or his college program, etc. My sister and I call ourselves Princess Diary Pretty because we have frizzy curly hair, but when straightened, we clean up nice. We tried an experiment for 2 weeks. Week 1, wear sweats, no hair straightening, no makeup. Week 2, wear cute outfits, straighten hair, do makeup, wear perfume. I wish we had filmed because the difference in the way we were treated was insane by men and women. Week 1, people would let doors slam in my face, treated me meanly, and didn't notice me. Week 2, everyone smiled at me, held doors, called me honey, got invited out with coworkers. I even had my coffee/donut paid for. Anyone who says that looks don't matter is living in a fantasy world. Perhaps not entirely what the question asked, but I need to get this off my chest. About 10 years ago, I was asked to come in for an interview for selling Bose speakers at one of their B2B outlets. It was an entirely professional deal, and the HR guy on the phone could not stress enough how important knowledge about sound systems was. So I go in, and only one other guy shows up. We assume they need more people, so we both fancy our chances. Only thing is this guy has no idea how speakers work, no idea what or who Bose is, and displayed a generally carefree attitude. At least he was wearing a shirt and not a polo with his jeans and sneakers. I get called first, and my interview went on for over 30 minutes, getting grilled about all things imaginable and then some more. I was pretty confident about the material, because I knew that stuff, and I thought it went really well. So I come out and this guy is shitting bricks because he did not realize this was a serious job interview. We had built up some rapport while waiting, so when he asked me if I could wait for him for some moral support, we were headed back to the same area too. I said okay. His interview lasted 5 minutes. He walked out with an offer letter. All they asked him was his name and his background. I was politely asked to reapply after 12 months. This guy was equally confused. He was not a scumbag, in fact, he was a really nice guy. But even when you are selling high-end conference room sound systems to people who have no time to even listen to your pitch, Bose wanted good looks over skills. Did I mention this guy looked like a cross between Christopher Reeve and Elvis Presley? I'm not seeing this listed, so I'll go ahead and say it. Sexual assault. When someone who's attractive goes way too far, it's frequently taken as a compliment, laughed off, or just not spoken of again. And if you take issue with it and tell someone, they're a hell of a lot less likely to believe you and or try to talk you out of it / convince you it wasn't as bad as you're making it seem. If an ugly person grabs your crotch or your boob, or smacks your ass in a bar, or doesn't take no for an answer, it's sexual assault and nobody questions you, and everyone immediately rallies around you and agrees the person is bad. I once had an outrageously hot girlfriend who didn't stop when I said to. We were in the driver's seat of a car and I was pinned between my seat and the steering wheel on top of me, and I wasn't wearing a condom. I was shoving at her and yelling, but I had no room to move my legs at all and had basically no physical leverage in that position. So she held me down and got what she wanted. I hated it. Yes, female-on-male rape is a real thing. I told her she raped me and she laughed in my face. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, I don't know if I just got this crazy bitch pregnant. Also, how the fuck did she just remove my personal agency? It was horrible and confusing and disorienting, because it's hard for men to really process the idea that it can happen to us too. When I started telling people, at least 3/4 of them didn't believe me or blatantly didn't take me seriously in any way at all. Several simply changed the subject. The consensus was, you're whining because your hot girlfriend let you come in her? How stupid are you? But if I'd told people a fat, homely friend of mine held me down and raped me, they'd have believed me with little question. I can't even imagine how it must be for women who get assaulted by very attractive men. And people wonder why most victims don't report shit. And people wonder how Cosby admitted in a deposition that he gave women quaaludes, and then fucked them but somehow got a mistrial. We live in a society where if the aggressor is hot or rich, nobody wants to believe you and the system isn't set up to support you. Narcissism, shallowness. There's a ton of vitriol directed at unattractive women who spend a lot of time on their appearance. Putting makeup on a pig. Unless you're naturally attractive, there's this idea that you shouldn't even bother trying to look nice because who do you think you're fooling? You'll always be ugly, so just accept in your ugliness. You see it a lot directed at heavy women on this site. Because other people don't find you attractive, people feel like you don't deserve to feel or find yourself attractive. Meanwhile, hot girls can spend an inordinate amount of time on their appearance and documenting their appearance with very little pushback. People like looking at them, so it's okay they like looking at themselves so much too. Letting yourself go a little. What I mean is, a beautiful man can let his hair get shaggy, go a week or two without shaving and bum around in jeans and a t-shirt. He's so rugged. Look how carefree he is. An ugly man does the same thing, and he needs to put himself together. No wonder he doesn't have a girlfriend. A beautiful woman decides to bum around the house in sweats with virtually no makeup and her hair tied back because she's in no mood to actually put in the effort to do it up today. After all, she's just hanging out at home with the cat this afternoon. She's a low-maintenance, natural beauty. An ugly woman does the same thing, and she's a frumpy, lonely cat lady. This more specifically applies to weight, but it's considered extremely attractive to talk about how much food you eat, how much you love meat, carbs, cheese, junk food. If you're a thin person, more so if you're a thin/fit woman than a man. Take, for example, Jennifer Lawrence at the height of her popularity gushing on about how much she loved potatoes and bread and expounding on how she was obese by Hollywood standards, when in reality she's probably skinnier than 90% of the people you've ever encountered in your life. And how people celebrated this, saying she was down to earth. If Melissa McCarthy went on about how she loved cheese and potatoes, she'd probably be portrayed as having no shame or being gross. Public displays of affection. If two beautiful people kiss and or make out in a public setting, very few people are going to bat an eye. It's aesthetically pleasing, almost like a scene from a movie. If Jabba the Hutt and the Wicked Witch are making out, there's gonna be disgust and interruption. If you want to get a little risky with your sex life, and you get caught in the act, you're much more likely to catch a public indecency, or worse. Charge if you're an unattractive couple. And that's it for today's video. I hope you liked it, and don't forget to comment with a similar anecdote or experience related to the video's topic. Leave a like, share the video if you enjoyed it, and lastly, don't forget to activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our daily videos. Ciao.